Hey y'all, what's up? Big Willie here, and welcome back to another episode of our FTB Skies Expert Let's Play. So in today's episode, we are going to get into some Apotheosis. We're going to work on the next tier of our in-game quests, trying to get everything we need for that together and wrapped up, and hopefully we're going to automate some more Botania with the what was it called? Botanical Machinery mod. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. All right, y'all. So back to progress, because, you know, we're never going to get through this if we don't get through this. So I looted some of, not all of, I didn't get all of it, but I looted some of our sky village we have up above us here, because it had not been looted since we moved over here. And I got us a chest full of some stuff. The main reason I did it is I was hunting for arcane sands, these. So I only found 3, and we're going to need 16, which is why we're going to get into Apotheosis. We need to make a salvaging table so that we can break down gear, which I only have 2 pieces of gear so far that are higher tier. These came from the nether. Looks like we're going to have to go to the nether and loot more to get more of the higher tier Apotheosis gear, because I'm not finding anything higher than rare, or not rare, uncommon. What, or is it rare? I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, rare, because the Arcane Sands is epic. So yeah, we're not finding anything higher than rare in the chests up above in our village. So we're going to probably have to go loot some more in the nether. I did find some infused hell shelves to get our Apotheosis enchanting up, which would be great to be able to make some better gear. A bunch more other stuff, but most of it is kind of irrelevant. Did find an enchanting table, which we're going to need for one of the things that we're trying to make today. So first things first, in order to break down gear with Apotheosis, we're going to need the salvaging table. The salvaging table allows us to break down the gear and extract the magical material from it so that we can use it for forging our gear later on into better pieces. So let's go ahead and get this made, and we'll go over how to use it. So the salvaging table, looks like I'm just missing a smithing table, which is not a problem. Oh wow, it found us an axe that is purple. Let's not break that down. So let's see, axe. I need an iron axe. Oh, there's another one. Look, we got gear to break down. We may have enough arcane sands. Heck yeah. Iron axe. I don't care about using this common one because we're not going to be using that tier for anything, unfortunately. It's just too low tier, and we're already so far in the game that if we're making gear, we better be making the best. You know what I mean? All right, so there we go. There's our salvaging table. So, like I said, we'll go over what you do with the salvaging table. So the salvaging table is a block here, and if we take higher tier gear and we put it into the salvage side, we should be able to break it down. Why is it not letting me break it down? No salvage items selected. Okay. What? All right, well, that's different, because that's normally how you break down the affixed items, but it won't let me put those in there. Please hold. All right, y'all, so there goes me, assuming that I know the mods and how they work, but they've changed it. So we cannot use the salvaging table to salvage the rarity material off the gear. According to the salvaging the quest, the salvaging table will allow you to break down rarity material into a lower tier or get gem dust. Depending on the item, you will get back some components based on the rarity of the item destroyed, but it's not letting us destroy any of those items. And it says you can use this to refine the material into new affixes in a reforging table. To get new rarity materials of higher tier, you will have to loot them. Meaning they've removed the ability for us to use the salvaging table to break down the gear to get the rarity material out of it, which makes this in-game quest down here just that much harder. That means we literally are going to have to go and loot 16 arcane sands or Godforged pearls, which we do have some of. Let me see where those got put. Nope, they're in this chest from the loot. I got 2 of them. If I put the Godforged pearl in there, it will give me, looks like 1 to 2 arcane sands per, and I can break that down into this epic material that we need for the quest. But we're going to have quests later, I think, where we need the epic one. See, yeah, we need 16 Godforged pearls for this tier down here, and if we can't get them from gear and have to loot them, oh boy, that's going to be a lot of looting, because I've looted, if we look in the overworld, I've looted 1, 2, 3, 4 villages, 5 villages now. And of those 5 villages, this is all I've gotten, because I've not done any reforging or anything of the sort. So Arcane Sands, I've looted 7 total. And Godforged Pearls, I've only looted 2. And I've looted a lot more in the Nether villages. And the only place to find these 2 items, if we go to them and go for R for recipes, is dungeon chests from the Bastion Bridge or the Village Fletcher. And, you know, there can be 4 to 8 stacks, each containing 1 to 3 sands. And that's all determined based on your buffs and looting and luck, which affects what generates in a chest when you right click it. So yeah, it looks like we're going to have to do an absolute ton more looting. The Arcane Sands, just to get there, 16 of them, we aren't even halfway yet. So we're going to have to do a lot more looting for that. But that doesn't mean we can't make progress today on our quest line. It just means, well, change of plans. You know, this really super modded version of FTB Skies is going to force us to do it a different way. But that's fine. We will not be defeated. Moving right along to what I had in mind for us today. We are going to need to get the mechanical mana pool going. That is going to be probably the first thing we work towards. We already have an alchemy catalyst. We're going to need to make another one so that we can turn it into an abjuration catalyst. So let's see if we have the stuff we need to make the springaline shards. I think we're going to need 6 glass to make more panes. It looks like we do. And we need the, springaline glass pane. Let's go make that. Uses. Springaline glass panes. There we go. Abjuration. And we need a spell gem, which is enchanting apparatus. And we start with a diamond and any parchment. So we've got a parchment. Sure, projectile break. That's fine. And since we haven't... Let's see if we have any. We might actually have made extra spell gems. Nope, we don't. Okay. Let's go make ourselves our spell gem, which you guys have seen before, so I won't make you watch it, but I will be right back. Gonna head to the other base and get it done. All right, there we are back. That was just, same process as before. You put your diamond in the whatever the source generating one, and then you have to do it in the enchanting apparatus twice with source gem blocks, and presto, we're there. So let's go see where we were on that. We were working on our abjuration catalyst, which now we should be able to make, or not, alchemy catalyst, and then we're going to have to do, I combine the two, abjuration. Conjuration catalyst, which is made from the alchemy catalyst with our dragonstone that we just automated in day before, I don't know. Either way, as you can see, we can just automate that right there. And there is our conjuration catalyst, and then our alchemy catalyst should be in here. And now, do we have what we need? I think we still got to make a diluted mana pool, which is made from just a regular mana pool. Got that, because I brought over all of our Botania setup. So let's make a diluted mana pool. Oh, 1 big mana pool gives us 4 diluted. Cool. And then now all we have left is another ring of mana, which we've done before. And now we need to make Bifrost block, which we make with the Bifrost sword. There we go. Rod of the Bifrost. And then we need Alf glass, which we already have, but we automated that with our botanical machinery last time. So now we needed, 6 or something of this, I think, for our fabulous mana pool. There we go. Now, what do we have left for our mechanical mana pool? Just another greater ring of mana. Now, you guys have seen me make these before. I've got to go make the rune of mana, which I can't go make because I brought my runic altar with me. So we're going to make it over here. So I would like to get into making the mechanical one that we can use, but I don't know. It looks like it can use certain Botania runes, but not all of them. So yeah, we're not going to do that right now. I'm just going to set up the runic altar downstairs and go through the regular process to make our rune of mana real quick. So we've got our creative mana pool right here, and then I should be able to just put that runic altar down and get done what we need to get done. We will get all of the automatable ones made soon, but not today. So since you guys have seen me do this before, I'm not going to make you watch this again either. I will get it set up and be right back once I have the Ring of Mana made. And we're back. So I got that ring made. I had a whole adventure where I thought the system ate my blocks I just made, but I just left them in the crafting grid upstairs. That was fun. So if you have a portable crafting grid and one upstairs, just remember your A2 crafting grid will hold its inventory. So go check the other one, because you may have used your physical one instead of the one in your inventory, and your stuff could just be sitting right there. So don't waste 20 minutes like I just did. All right, so we got our Greater Ring of Mana made. We did have to set up our agglomeration plate here so that we could get some more Terra Steel made, but this is another one of the blocks I want to get automated. Don't know whether we're going to get to it today, because I would like to cover the rest of these pieces that we do still need to get automated, and that's going to have some machines we need to set up and things like that. So without any further rambling, let's make our mechanical mana pool. So the reason this one's important is all the things that we used to have to go toss into the mana pool with this block, if we tie it in to our mana pool or mana spreader setup right there, which hopefully this will still be able to reach. Looks like it. Cool. And it's charging the mana in here. Awesome. So there we have it. So now, just like with the other ones, all we'll need to do for this is get a pattern provider underneath it. We should be able to reuse this laser node that's next to it for getting things in and out of this block. We'll just put stuff on this face. Let's get this here. I think I can just throw like one piece of cable in the middle of this, and as long as we have channels, let's chase this and make sure we're going to have channels where it comes in. So where that ties in, we're only using 2 of 8. Got plenty of channels. So if we tie this in, hopefully 3 of 8. Yep. So now anything we put around this little block in the middle will connect all of them to the network, and we can put 4, machines right there. So what all are we going to want to automate in the mechanical mana pool? So if we go to Batan add additions, there we go. Okay, so no, it's not in there. It is machine. There we go. Botanical machinery. So if we click on this thing and we go to our uses, everything we could do. Now, one of the main ones we were talking about is copper, infused copper. Cool. Let's see what else. 36 pages. Holy crap. Let me go through the list, I guess, and I will show you all what I find in a minute. All right, so I came up with 8 recipes that I want to put in here initially, and they are all the basic stuff we've seen before. A mana powder, mana infused copper, mana diamonds, mana pearls, mana lapis, and mana steel. Now, mana steel has an component behind it that I don't think we're going to get into, because I quite frankly haven't figured out how I will be automating it yet. I just haven't looked at it. It looks like we're going to need to feed things into a permanently set up enchanting apparatus and have it extract and whatever, and that is also going to mean that we're going to have to automate our drenched steel production from elemental craft, which we've yet to do because we just were bulk crafting this stuff, and I've made so much of it in bulk off camera that we haven't needed to make anymore, but we are going to get to the point where we run out of that, and we are very close to running out of the magically inclined steel. So this is going to be coming up, but this is definitely not something we're going to get into today. But let's go ahead and bookmark these just so we've got them, and hopefully I'll remember, that we need to get it done. But we can take the mechanical mana pool off of our pinned list of things that we wanted to get done. Right here, lumium ingots. So chasing lumium. This is another one where we have to, as I've said, chase the rabbit, right? We got to go down the rabbit hole of what it's going to take to make lumium automatically, because we need 64, 128, something like that. Let's see, what do we need? 64 lumium. We don't have the ability to make all of that automatically yet, but we can get there. And the reason that, these quests have you automate things like this is you need a lot of this stuff. You end up just using it for various recipes, and if you don't have it automated, it is time consuming. So sure, could we just make 64 of them and be done for the quest? Yeah, but does that do you any good in the long run? No, because you're going to continue to be chasing these items and manually crafting over and over and over and over and over, and it gets old real quick. So you may have noticed, oh, I left mana glass out. Sorry. How did I do that? Oh, and we're not done down here. We have to set up the filters, but you guys have seen all that. So I'll have to put a filter card in here and tell it what it can extract and reinsert. It'll be great. We don't have to do any linking because we've already used these. So, but we do have one more pattern to put in there. There you go, mana glass, which then coincides with this one that can make alpha glass from the mana glass. So now, and since we know how to make glass, we can go all the way from glass to alpha glass without having to manually do anything. That's the goal. That's what we're getting into. And these recipes support a lot of the stuff that we put into here too. So, that's why we're doing it this way. All right, so for our next adventure, you'll notice I've got Alumium pattern here, which takes Signalum. Signalum takes Electrum Blend, and Electrum Blend is just Electrum crushed, and we already have our induction smelter knows how to make Electrum. So we have the base component done, but we need to get to crushing it and all of the other things. So our magenta line, not even halfway yet on channels. We've got room on this line to add something else in. Now, how are we going to want to do this? Maybe we should put it down here so that we're within range of our drawer controller and we can link the outputs, or no, we're going to be doing this on an as-needed craft. We're not going to be bulk crafting any of this. So yeah, it can go up here. And you guys said put a timer down to fix this where your stuff doesn't pause every time you log into the world. I tried the little redstone timer from RF Tools and cannot get it. Every time I sign in, and it seems to only be stuff that's on the base tier generator. The generator stops, you have to cycle the redstone switch, and then, stuff starts coming in again. I don't know. If you got any ideas, let me know down in the comments. All right, so we're going to want to pull a channel off, and we're working on this magenta line, so let's grab out our magenta cables. So magenta and magenta. So we're going to pull a little line over for today's project. So let's give one more row just to have a little room. So we're going to need a pulverizer, and we're going to need for this pulverizer to be able to pulverize materials for us down into their, dust form. So let's tell it that you are input, output from the top, auto input, auto output on. This is going to need power, and since we may end up with a few more machines here, let's do a flux point underneath with some cable. Get it on our network. There we go. All right, so this is now powered. Now all we need is a pattern provider. I went ahead and requested a bunch of pattern providers for us ahead of time so that we would not have to wait on the system while we were working on this stuff today. So there's our pattern provider. We're going to go ahead and convert one of these into the single block form, since we know those work fine with this machine, since it can auto eject. And then I've made 3 patterns. I made one for Desh Dust, one for Ostrom Dust, and one for Electrum Blend. We need those Desh Dust and whatnot and the Ostrom Dust for our patterns for the crafting of the blends to be able to make our Lumium, Signalum, and Electrum or Enderium blends. So we now need to tie in the arc furnace. So the arc furnace is going to need to be able to smelt those into ingots when we need them in ingot form, but we've not yet tied in the arc furnace. So let's go get our recipes made for smelting those items, and then we'll go tie the arc furnace in, and we can start giving it patterns for the things that can only be smelted in the arc furnace. So for these crafting patterns, these are just crafting patterns for the Enderium, Signalum, and Lumium for when we need them in ingot form. This makes the dust for us to be able to smelt, and that is just a crafting grid pattern. So this goes in just your molecular assemblers. Now, patterns for smelting them when we need them in smelted form. So if we tell it Signalum ingot, and then, the only thing that can take the dust and turn it into the ingot is the arc furnace. So there we go. And then we're going to want Lumium and Enderium. And then there's other stuff that can only be smelted in here too, like all of our space ores. So, the Desh, the Ostrom, Calorite, I think is the next one. So Desh. So for a Desh ingot, it can only be smelted in the arc furnace. Let's go ahead and make a recipe for that. And then for Ostrom ingots, can only be smelted in the arc furnace. Oh, wow, there's some interesting recipes. We can take the raw block and it gives us more. And then for the next tier, which is Calorite, correct? That's the one from Venus. So our Calorite ingot, once again, is only going to be able to be made in the arc furnace. Get us another recipe. So the arc furnace, we do already have importing its byproducts because it's smelting up all of our ores as the smasher dudes smash them for us to still multiply them, although we really probably don't need those guys, and we could just start exporting the raw ores into here at some point. I do believe both of these sides are inputs. This is a block where you can only input and output on certain points of the block. I don't know if maybe this is for secondary inputs and this is for primary inputs. We're about to find out. I'm going to try to stick a pattern provider on here, and we're going to see, do I have a wrench in here? I don't. It's in my backpack. We're going to see if it will take and put them in the right spot or if it puts them in the wrong spot. Looks like we're on lime green out here. Let's grab out our lime green, toss our magenta away. That is the wrong backpack. All right, toss our magenta away, grab out our lime green, and let's come on over. So that should put this online. So now we have a pattern provider for these patterns. So now the question becomes, if I ask the system, oh, look at that. Oh, yes. So this is how it works. This is for your secondary input, and that is for your primary, which means that if we are ever going to automate anything that needs both, we're going to need to do this a different way. We're going to need to stick a pattern provider into a chest and then have that chest probably laser node into these two different things, and we can set which ones of these inputs the items go to. So let's go with a redesign here. So first and foremost, I need one more piece of dense cable, even though we aren't really chasing the channels that far out yet, but we're getting close. So let's go ahead and just put one more dense out here to make sure that we're pulling the channels for this off of a dense cable. Okay, and then we're going to move all of this over. We're going to need ourselves a buffer chest, and something was requesting Signalum blend, which is interesting. I don't know what would be requesting it, but that is fine. So I think what we'll do is let's go like this, and then we can put the pattern provider right here, put our recipes in, and then we need a chest and some laser nodes. Let's get that going. And then we're going to need our card holder. We're going to need our laser wrench, and we're going to need a basic filter, right? Because we can just filter. We might need two, the way I'm thinking of it. Okay, so I wonder, can I feed this into a laser node and then out without having to have a chest here? I bet you I can. I bet you this will work. Okay, we've linked those two. So now on the down, we are going to have an extract card, and it can extract whatever it wants. That's fine. And then we're going to want to put some insert cards on the down face here with a filter, and you're only going to allow the blends or the other stuff. So blend, let's look at that. So blend is fine. So Signalum, Lumium, Inderium, those are allowed. And then we also want our space ores. So, oh, this is in the wrong, on the down. There we go. Space ores. So you can take calorite dust, you can take ostrum dust, and you can take desh dust. And I think that's all the recipes we made, right? Yep. Okay, so now it can take those, and then when we get into, this one doesn't have anywhere to do anything yet, but when we get to the point where we're making, actually we could tell it that you can insert, here is your filter, and one of the things that it's going to need to be able to insert is the ever-burning air for when we are making, oh god, what is it? Osmium. So you need ever-burning air to go in that side for osmium, and we will have to add the rest of the filter later. But I guess we could test this. Can you make me Signalum, and then let's see if we see it come through, because it's got to go through its process of crushing whatever it needs to crush, or did it already make and we missed it? Okay, let's go see where it's hung up. All right, which one of you has our recipe? So you're trying to make Signalum plate to extract to our thing over there, and you're trying to make Signalum. Did you steal the plate? I bet you it stole the plate. Oh no, it's hung up on that autocraft it tried to do because I have this piece of Signalum that I pulled out of the wrong input. So the whole system's frozen. So let's toss that in, and that should complete the one craft here. Let's go see. I don't know if that's for this craft or if that's for this one. It's for one of these two. Yeah, that was for this one. It looks like this one is going to smash it into a plate now. That's what it's doing too, by the way. So when we set up our initial setup down here, We have yet to set up the signalum plate, but we had it in here with a crafting upgrade for when we did. So right now, what it's trying to do is it's going to try to request enough to fill this buffer full of signalum plate, which we're only like 5 short. So let that do its thing once we verify that it is working, because this already has an import bus and should pull the items back in without a problem. Yep. Now let's go just cancel the crafts we have pending. Cancel that one and cancel this one. And then now let's see if it sends a new one. I wonder if it's because I need a buffer. I might need a buffer chest. That could be what's going on here. Let's see if we wrench this and aim it up, if that helps. So on the down, you have an extract card. You can extract anything. If I tell you to make one of these, will you send the stuff? No, you're not. Okay, so you need an inventory. That's what I'm getting at. If it needed an inventory and we put a chest here, there we go. So you cannot have it right there because there's no inventory in the laser node. So now if we put this laser node, actually it doesn't matter, we can do it, we'll do it right here. And then we can tell it to extract from the south face, and then we need to relink these. There we go. All right, so you do have to have an inventory, but this will allow us to get things into the right inputs for the additional slot and the other slot, and we should actually watch this thing. It's going to continue to craft those signalum because we have the crafting card on our setup over here that's making our infused alloys, and we just had not automated this yet. We've been manually feeding it. Oh god, I turned that machine. But if we look in here, it's up to 62. We'll see it get the next one here in a second. It'll go up to 63, and it will fill this up with what we need. And look at that. It completed our craft, too. The one we requested, it probably is smashing into a plate for here as we speak. If we come over here to the multi-servo press, this one. Yep, there we go. It just smashed it up. So now this should be full, and it shouldn't request any more signalum. So what we could do, if we want to just see it work, if we tell it to craft us, can you make me 10 signalum blend? Let's not do 100. And then the other thing is it's not having to make the mana infused copper yet, but that was why we needed the mechanical mana pool, was so that when we run out of the mana infused copper for any of these crafts, that they're there. But this should allow us to get all the way up to our aluminum, but let's test it real quick with this signalum. As you can see, the arc furnace is lit up and working. 9, 10, there we go. That's all 10 of our signalum we just requested, fully automated in our system, being made for us. Sorry that we fumbled through that, but this was my goal. This was what I wanted to get done today. I wanted to get through automating the aluminum, so let's test it. We need 64 of this. I don't know that we have all the materials we need, but let's see if everything's here. Aluminum, there's 22, so we need another 44. Oh, look at that. It's going to try to craft our mana-infused copper, which means we do need to go set up the laser node for that, because we never did that. I said I was going to do it off camera. So hold on, and I will get the laser node portion of the mechanical mana pool set up here, and I will be right back. All right, well, we actually didn't need it for that. It looks like the copper was for part of the aluminum recipe, but I went ahead and set this up anyways. Basic filter on the extract card next to our mechanical mana pool. And then on this face, I told it, hey, you can reinsert back into the pattern provider, just like we have set up with our other two over here, all using this one to return. So now we have it returning. I don't actually think that we don't even need the return, because this one can return, the bottom node can already return to the other face there, the east, I'm guessing that is. Yeah, so we've already got a return to the system right there, so we can just save ourselves another card. And there we have it. So the mechanical mana pool is automated, and our aluminum is automated as well. So that gets us the whole stack of aluminum that we need for this in-game quest. So that we can say we did something today together, let's go turn in the aluminum. Now, these other two, we actually already have automated. The formation cores and annihilation cores, those are fully automated for us. So we could tell it to make us 128 of those. So 128, go. And, oh, I didn't hit the actual go. Dang it. I forgot to hit start. 128, start. And then if we go to destruction, or what is it? Annihilation core, these. All right, let's tell it to make another 128. And this was why we wanted all of these crafting computers, even though those share the same block to make stuff. There will be 2 crafting computers sitting here holding those recipes, waiting on the returns from the system, each individually working on the stuff it can separately, and then they'll be stuck waiting on the fabrication matrix. But that's fine because this is all going to happen automated without us doing anything. So let's see, which one of these is it actually crafting? All right, so it's currently crafting those, so we should be able to watch those come in our inventory here. There you go, another one come in, formation core. So I'm going to let that run in between this episode and the next episode. Thank you guys so much for going on this adventure with me. I cannot tell you just how much I appreciate all y'all watching every week. I'm doing the best I can to make sure that these are entertaining and educational for people who need it. And I love this modded Minecraft. This complicated stuff. You may hear me get frustrated sometimes. I'm not. I love it. I love the challenge. I love the problem solving that we have to go through to get from point A to point B. But in today's episode, we marked off 3 more things from a big time in-game quest that we're going to be able to turn in. And when we get done, we're going to get our creative mana cell. So all of this automation we're doing for Britannia, we'll be able to kill that creative mana pool right there. And we'll be able to just export mana to these blocks from our storage system because we'll have a disk that has unlimited mana on it. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.